Sunny 95.
Welcome to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the show that brings you man-on-the-street interviews, celebrity guests, groundbreaking research, and heartwarming stories about the reasons we smile. Our show is also known as everything you've always wanted to know about dentistry, but we're too numb to ask. Hello, I'm General Dentist Dr. Kvitko, and thank you for joining me today.
The following views and opinions do not necessarily reflect those of this station, its staff, management, or parent company. To hear a replay of this show or one of the great shows that previously aired, log on to thereasonswesmile.com or iTunes, keyword Dr. Kvitko or The Reasons We Smile. Listeners should not use Dr. Kvitko's comments and advice in place of an actual dental exam.
Brighten your life with a smile that shows the professional touch of Dr. Kvitko.
Time now for The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Call 459-9769 to discuss your dental issues. Now, here's your host, Dr. Kvitko.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Reasons We Smile. I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is episode number 568. Thank you so much for joining me. I think we're going to have a great show today. With me in this studio is a dentist, Dr. Ashley Brody. She's a staff oral pathologist at Central Ohio Skin and Cancer in Westerville. We'll be bringing her on here in just a minute. Before we get started, let me remind you, if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Dr. Kvitko. And if you'd please go to my office Facebook page and like us, that would be awesome. All past episodes, complete with video, are available at thereasonswesmile.com, and we're streaming live on Facebook, so I always wave to the Facebook friends. Okay. So, as I mentioned, we have Dr. Briody with us, and I want to read you her bio. It's really nice of her to get up so early in the morning and come on the show with us. Really do appreciate it, by the way. So, Dr. Ashley Brody is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She earned her DDS from LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans and completed her residency in oral and maxillofacial pathology at The Ohio State University, where she earned a certificate and master's degree. She is a fellow of the American Academy of Oral and Maxillofacial Pathology and a diplomat of the American Board of Oral and Maxillofacial Pathology. Dr. Briody now works in a private oral pathology practice with Dr. Carl Allen in Westerville. The scope of her practice includes seeing patients clinically, diagnosing and managing oral disease, performing biopsies, CO2 laser ablation, and reading the tissue microscopically. Their practice also has a lab that accepts specimens from outside contributors. That would be like myself, right, Doctor?
Correct.
Okay, which I didn't realize. Mm-hmm. So we talked off the air that I might be able to start sending my specimens to you guys.
Certainly.
So anyway, yeah, thank you so much and for being on the show. And I was very fascinated to learn that there is a dentist who works side by side with board-certified dermatologists.
Correct.
So one of the things is how rare is that?
Well, I think we're the only ones in the country
who
are in with the dermatology
I thought
group.
it might be, but
yeah. There's not very many private practice oral pathologists in the country or world. Most of them are in academic institutions, so we are a little bit different than most practices, but it works really well because similar to how if you have a spot on your skin, you'd go to a dermatologist. If you have a spot on your mouth, you come to us.
Okay.
So it works out really well.
So it's all in the same building?
Correct.
Okay, and then you guys can confer back and forth, I assume?
Yep.
Okay. So now, how soon after you started dental school did you decide that you wanted to be an oral pathologist?
I decided in my 4th year. I worked for the oral pathology department at LSU, and both of their oral pathologists trained at Ohio State.
Oh, okay.
So I got really involved in the pathology and the specimens, and they said, well, if you want to do this, you gotta go to Ohio State and study under Dr. Carl Allen.
Yeah, really. Yeah, he's kind of the guru, isn't he?
He's the guru.
Yeah, she's working under the master, which will make you the master someday.
I hope so.
So, all right. So now, and it's funny that you would say that because in dental school, I worked as a part-time job. I developed X-rays in the radiology department. And guess what? I wound up teaching in the radiology department for 20 years after dental school. So I guess you make that connection, and it's a natural. So what do you like most about your job?
Well, I like all the different aspects of my job. So I get to see patients clinically, which I really like because I like the interaction with patients. I also like that I get to see a puzzle and I get to solve it myself. So I see a lesion in someone's mouth. I don't know what it is, or maybe I have an idea. I take a small sample. The next day I get to look at it under the microscope. So I get to form my differential and then actually see what it is under the microscope, tell the patient, and then I get to treat them accordingly. So I kind of get all the answers
Almost instantly, within a day.
Within a day
so
or
then
two.
it processes in your brain quicker.
Right.
And you become more of the expert than I will ever be, because I'm waiting a week maybe to find out. It's like, okay, what patient was this?
Right.
When you saw it clinically, you saw it when you removed it and put it in the little specimen vial.
Right.
And then you saw it as a slide. Now you have a lab that prepares the slides for you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
So we share the lab with the dermatopathologist.
Okay.
So the derms send their specimens to the dermatopathologist to read, and then oral surgeons, dentists, other specialists like periodontists and endodontists, and general dentists send their specimens to us for us to read.
Okay, so you call the other side derms. What do they call you? Orals?
Oral path.
Oral path. Okay. So, okay. Let me see. I want to keep this flowing, but now, when you realize that one of your patients actually has cancer, what happens? What's the next step? What's the process? Tell me how that goes.
Sure. So if I see something that looks suspicious, I tell the patient, this could be a cancer. We need to biopsy to find out if it is. I never say that unless I'm almost 100% sure it's a cancer.
Okay.
Otherwise, I just say we need to biopsy this and
Right.
just see what it is. So I take a sample. Usually when I cut into it, I can tell whether or not it's a cancer. Then I can give them a better idea when they're walking out the door. We process the tissue. Again, it's ready the next day. And I set the patients up with an appointment at the James with their head and neck cancer surgeons down there.
That's what I was wondering, if they were treated in-house or they were referred out. So they're referred to the James?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you refer them, what kind of follow-up happens from the James to you? And let me tell you why I'm asking this. I have actually discovered cancer on 2 or 3 different patients over time. And in every case, I've never seen them again. It's almost like they blame me for finding their cancer. You've heard of that? Okay, tell me about that.
So luckily, the surgeons we work with at the James have been fantastic. We work with their head and neck group, and they send us detailed reports after every time they see the patient.
Right.
So we get a report after their initial appointment, which is just a consult. Then we get another report once they've had their surgery. We
Right.
get another report a month later. So we are intimately connected with how things are going for the patient.
Yeah, I get those reports too, but the patient seems to never come back. Have you heard of that?
I think so. So a lot of the patients, they become really depressed after their cancer surgeries. A lot of them lose major portions of their face.
Right.
They don't focus on their dental care. So what I like to emphasize is before they go to the James,
Right.
you need to go see your dentist. Talk about oral hygiene. I usually call the dentist and say, have this patient come in just for a consult. Discuss the importance of oral hygiene after cancer care. So usually they get surgery plus or minus radiation and chemo, and the radiation can really do a toll on their salivary glands.
Right.
They get really dry, and
can
then they're
get all
more
that
susceptible to
decay. Yeah.
right, tons of decay.
Right.
So we really want to emphasize before they even go through the treatment how important it is. They'll forget for a little while while they're going through treatment, but I've seen patients with a full set of beautiful teeth that they've kept them up their entire lives become completely edentulous just because they didn't really understand the importance of aftercare.
Right.
Once they've been through that trauma of
The
cancer
last patient
surgery.
that I found, it was a squamous cell, big lump on his tongue. And the James lost track of him. He apparently went somewhere else after the initial surgery, so I don't really know if he even survived.
That definitely does happen. We see that occasionally.
Yeah. Okay. It's disappointing.
It
It's
is.
disconcerting.
Yep.
Concerning because I feel like I'm doing my job. I've done them a favor, kind of making sure they get somewhere who can save their life.
Right.
And then maybe it's just me, but it just feels 3 out of 3. Never seen them again.
It can be very frustrating. I've had a few patients who don't want treatment, and that's really frustrating too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because then they're gone.
Right.
They're gone. It's unfortunate. So, but do you see these people annually? So let's say you found cancer, you sent them to the James. Do you try to get them back for an annual exam, or?
It depends on what the process is. So some
Okay.
patients have multifocal precancerous disease where one spot will go to cancer.
Right.
Those patients are managed by both the folks at the James and me. If the patient just has one cancer, they're followed by the James for 5 years. And then I ask them after those 5 years, please come back to see me.
Okay. And do they?
A lot of times they do.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. At least you're
Yeah.
seeing somebody.
Sure.
Maybe because she's better looking than I am or something. I don't know. My producer's going, yeah, she is. Anyway. All right, now, if you could recommend one lifestyle change to the people listening to this show that might help them avoid developing cancer, what would it be?
Well, the main thing is not to smoke.
Okay, so smoking is the primary, and my producer smokes. I'm not beating up on you.
The 75% of oral cancers are caused by smoking. 25% occur in patients with no risk factors. So even if they're not smoking, we still need to be looking for these cancers.
Okay.
Because 25% will have no history of smoking, drinking, or any of the other risk factors that we see.
That would really suck. Yeah. To live a, quote, clean life and still want it. You hear about people that have never smoked that get lung cancer.
Right.
And we think it's the environment. We don't really know, but yeah, that's awful. Okay, so let me just make sure, as you may know, we always do a Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. And you're going to have a chance to win free flowers from DeSantis Florist. They're going to be delivered to your place of business this Tuesday afternoon. If you've been listening, and I'm going to actually refresh your memory so that I can make sure that you have heard what might be the answers to Dr. Kvitko's question of the day, you might want to remember that Dr. Ashley Brody is an oral pathologist who works at Centra Ohio Skin and Cancer. She received her DDS degree from the LSU College of Dentistry, and she also performs biopsies and reads microscopic slides. All right? Before we do the contest, though, we'd like you to listen to this.
This station will not be held liable for any contesting during The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Participation in the contest allows Dr. Kvitko to record and broadcast your name and call. One winner per household. Prizes are non-transferable, cannot be substituted, and are subject to taxes and fees. This station cannot be responsible for the inability to enter the contest, whether due to equipment malfunction or telephone difficulties. All decisions of Dr. Kvitko concerning this contest or eligibility are final.
And now it's time for Dr. Kvitko's question of the day.
All right, and the question of the day is, which of the following statements are true about my guest, Dr. Ashley Brody? A, she is a dentist who works as an oral pathologist at Central Ohio Skin and Cancer. B, she received her DDS degree from the LSU College of Dentistry. C, she also performs biopsies and reads microscopic slides. Or D, all of the above. All right. The winner's going to receive those free flowers. They'll be delivered to your place of business this Tuesday afternoon from DeSantis. The number to call is 614-459-9769. That's 614-459-9769. So go ahead and call now.
You won't believe it though. I want to hear your mind. And there's nothing else in the world tonight. She said people don't take the time. Hey, people don't take the time.
Hi, I'm Keith Carlos, winner of America's Next Top Model and star of Chocolate City 2. Look for my smile on the big screen this summer, courtesy of Dr. Kvitko. Stay tuned to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of The Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. Did you know that you no longer need to visit several different dental professionals to get more complete dental care? We handle everything from cleanings and orthodontics to restoration, implants, and smile makeovers, all in my office. And now we have 2 locations. Get the most advanced technology and procedures available today. It's more complete dentistry.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
Dr. Kvitko, let's go!
Hi, this is Richard Simmons. Dr. Kvitko's here, and he's going to help you with all of your problems. Are your teeth yellow? He can fix that. Are you missing a tooth? He can put a new one in. How is that?
That's very good. Thank you, Richard. Okay, we're back. We're doing Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. We have 4 callers on the line. I'm going to ask Dr. Brody. Pick a number between 1 and 4, please.
How about 1?
1? Okay, that would be, what, Mike? Hey, Mike, are you there?
Hey, I sure am.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling in. Do you have the answer to Dr. Kvitko's question of the day?
I do. It is all of the above.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, hey, that's correct. What do you do for a living, Mike?
I am an IT engineer.
IT engineer. Awesome. One of those smart people that understands computers better than I do. And that whole thing. Hey, stay on the line for us, okay? So we can find out where to send those flowers and keep listening, okay?
Hey, that sounds great. Thanks, Dr. Kvitko.
Thank you. All right, so if you're just joining us, I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is The Reasons We Smile. It's episode number 568, and with us in the studio today is Dr. Ashley Brody. She is a dentist and an oral pathologist. She works at Central Ohio Skin and Cancer.
Right.
We start with skin and I hope they don't have cancer,
Right, right.
Anyway, okay, and so let me just, so we're talking about, and before the break, I asked you if you could just give people one lifestyle change, and I thought about that. Probably not fair. Tell me other lifestyle changes that people could make and should make to try to avoid cancers.
So cancers in general, there's all sorts of different ones, and they're all caused by different things, and a lot of them we don't know what causes them.
Okay.
So in general, not smoking, drinking.
Okay, alcohol?
Alcohol, not drinking in excess.
Oh, okay,
A drink
okay.
every once in a while is not going to cause cancer, but we know alcohol abuse can lead to many other kinds of cancer. In the oral cavity, it's alcohol plus tobacco, not necessarily alcohol alone that leads to these cancers.
Oh, really? Okay. And chewing tobacco and snuff, those are really bad, right?
So we actually don't see that many cancers from chewing tobacco and
But you
snuff.
see that really ugly change on the inside of their mucosa.
It can look ugly. When we biopsy it, though, usually it just looks a little bit atypical.
Okay.
So we really don't see a lot of cancers from the actual smokeless tobacco and snuff. There are a few types. There's a dry type that has a 4 times increased risk in cancer, and that's the type that a lot of women in the South used to use.
Okay.
And there's also a kind from India, the pan, where they use the beetle nut. And that one has an increased risk of cancer
Oh,
as
really?
well.
The beetle net. Okay. Okay. Now, does human papillomavirus cause oral cancer?
Not really. So only 3 to 5% of oral cancers are HPV positive.
Really?
And
Okay.
even within those, we don't really know what it means. So when we're talking about HPV cancers, we're talking about the oropharynx, which is back further. So that's
okay.
the throat and the base of the tongue. And you can't see the base of the tongue in people. You need specialized equipment that like the ENTs have in order to visualize those areas.
So then, would you recommend that people get the HPV vaccine?
I do still recommend that people get the HPV vaccine because it protects against cervical cancer, anogenital cancers, as well as oropharyngeal.
Okay.
So it is still a good idea. And they actually just released that you can get it from age 9 to 45 now. It used to be around 11 to 26. So they've expanded the ages. You can actually get the vaccine if you're older than that. You just have to pay out of pocket. It's not covered by your insurance.
And is it a shot? Is it a liquid?
It's a series of shots.
Okay. How many?
It's 2 or 3, depending on which type you get. Right now, the available one is the Gardasil 9, which protects against 9 different strains of HPV.
Wow.
So you get them 6 months apart.
So you happen to be with child.
Mm-hmm.
Will you recommend your daughter get it?
Absolutely.
At age 9, probably.
Absolutely.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. The idea is that you want them to be protected against the virus before they ever have the opportunity to be exposed to it.
Okay. And you can be exposed to it in which ways?
So it's a sexually transmitted.
Only sexually.
But you also can be exposed to it in other ways.
Right.
So we really want to protect in any way.
Okay, so you recommend everybody get it, boys and girls?
Correct, boys and girls.
And as early as possible.
Right.
Okay. So tell me about your day. Do you see patients every day? Do you just read slides on some days? Is it a mixture?
So I see patients 4 days a week.
Okay.
All day. And then for 2 hours in the middle of the day, I look at slides
Wow.
and sign the cases out. So I
Wow.
get some of both every day, just
Wow.
about.
So that's like your lunch is looking at slides?
My lunch is looking at slides. It's a lot of fun, though. I don't mind it.
No, that's obviously you have a passion for what you do, and that makes you better at it, right? If we
I
like
hope
what
so.
we do, if it doesn't feel like work, it's not work.
That's right.
You know, I was where was I watching? I was watching some guy. He said, you know, I haven't worked a day in my life because I love what I do every day.
Right.
You know, and I think even those people would admit there's some days that still feel like work, right?
Yep. Definitely.
But anyway, okay. So now, when was the last time you used a dental drill?
The last time I used a dental drill, I guess, would be in dental school. It's been a long time.
Like 6 years, 8 years?
I graduated in 2014, so.
Okay, 4 years ago was the last
4
time you
years.
used a dental
Yeah.
drill. Do you lament having to go through all that testing because you had to prove that you could do a restoration or do a crown or do
Not
a
really.
thing?
I really enjoyed dentistry. I had a hard time deciding to go into oral path because it's so different from dentistry. I didn't hate dentistry at all.
Uh-huh.
I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And so it was a really hard decision for me to leave all of that behind. But now I don't miss it. I love what I do.
So if somebody is listening and they feel like they may have a lesion on their tongue or even on their skin somewhere, how can they reach you guys if they said, well, I like Dr. Briody, I'd like to have her look at me? How would they reach you?
Sure. So they could call our office. We have a website, coscderm.com.
Okay.
And they could also call to make an appointment. If you just Google my name.
Okay, but then we have to know how to spell it.
Yes.
So do we need to put the first name, or is it just if you Google Dr. Briody?
They'll probably find me. There's not too many of us.
So they Google Dr. Briody?
Right, at Central Ohio Skin and Cancer.
Okay, and then you'll come up.
I will pop right up.
Okay. Looks like we're about ready for another break, right? I'm looking at my producer, whose job it is to keep me on time. All right, so you're listening to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. We'll be right back.
You can't take me as I am, not just a little bit. I don't know who to be. I'm a paper cup, baby, of the sea. I know you see it too, 'cause you're too much for me.
This is Clark Kellogg. Stay tuned for more of Dr. Kvitko.
Estás escuchando con Dr. Kvitko aquí en su estación favorita. Hi, I'm Dominique Reichert. Like what you hear? Why not use the show to promote your product or service by becoming a sponsor? Call 614-262-9588 to learn how. That's 614-262-9588. Call now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of the Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. I've been honored to help several famous people get a perfect smile, like Keith Carlos and Dominique Reigard from America's Next Top Model, and Ted the Golden Voice Williams from right here in Columbus. Isn't it time you had a celebrity smile? It costs less than you might think, and most of the time, it can be done in one visit. A new smile can make a world of difference.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
I'm Grandpa, and I go to Dr. Kvitko, and I still have all my teeth. Real ones. Where's my glasses?
All right, we're back. I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is The Reasons We Smile. With us in the studio is Dr. Ashley Brody. She is an oral pathologist. She's a dentist. She works at Central Ohio Skin and Cancer in Westerville. And so we have about 3 or 4 minutes left. Before we get to those last 3 topics, I just wanted to mention how important it is, I believe, and I'm sure you're going to agree, that everybody go and see their medical professional at least once a year, right? And that it seems to me it's men that typically don't, right?
I would agree.
Okay. So I'm a guy, but I go every year. And when my physician says, oh, you need to go and have this or that checked, I do. So he said, I want you to go to the dermatologist. And I go once a year now. And he found something on my face right below my cheek. And he says, it's really nothing now, but it looks like it could be precancerous. And so I'm in the process of putting a cream on it every day for the next 2.5 to 3 weeks. And you would highly recommend that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of patients don't have a primary care doc. And if there's something on their face, I think dentists should be on the lookout for those things. But definitely I recommend that they go see someone. And it's not a bad idea for everybody to go see the dermatologist every year. They can do a full skin exam and look everywhere, places that you might not be able to see on your own body, to look for suspicious spots.
And you know what? My former office manager, from just a month or 2 ago, they discovered melanoma. And melanoma is on your skin, but it's a tiny little black dot. It's, what would you say, a millimeter diameter or so?
It depends. They can be all different sizes, but it's a scary one. Melanoma is the most deadly skin cancer.
And it turns out hers had already metastasized.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I'm kind of connected to this, and I think she's going to be okay. It was like stage 3 or 4, but but she's got a positive attitude, and that helps a lot. But yet sometimes that can't overcome the fact that you have cancer.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. So now, what other conditions are commonly referred to your practice?
So we see a whole host of different conditions. Some of them are immune-mediated, like ulcers, or there are some systemic diseases that we see and we manage. A lot of the common things that we see, like fibromas or mucoceles, which are damaged salivary glands. We see all sorts of different things. So anytime a patient has something in their mouth, they don't know what it is and we don't know what it is, we take it out and we confirm.
Okay. Now, when it's I don't know, 20 millimeters wide, I typically do an incisional biopsy, take part of it.
Right.
That's what you would suggest?
Right. Anytime I think something is cancerous or precancerous, I take a small piece first to determine exactly what we're dealing with.
Right.
Then I go in and I'll either, if it's precancerous, I can laser ablate the rest of the lesion. If it's cancerous, I would always send those off to a cancer surgeon, such as the ones at the James.
But if it's 10, 11 millimeters, somewhere below that, it's well defined, I'll just take it all.
That's fine.
And send it off.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what about if sometimes we just, that goes into the fixative solution, right?
Right.
And you guys can prepare it. But I've wondered, when it comes to like people in the hospital setting, they seem to they test for what's the bacteria causing this infection. And there are times when I would like to know what caused the infection that I'm dealing with, whether it's a fistula or whatever. How do I get a little one of those little vials or test tubes to do that? I'm having a hard time finding that.
So we don't do that at our practice, just because most hospitals do. So if you contact the nearest hospital, you can call them and ask them to send you some kits. They'll send you a swab.
They will.
With a
test tube,
test tube, and you can swab the patient. We don't find that we learn a lot from that.
Okay.
Because it's typically the same organisms that are responsible. We see a lot of actinomycoses in the oral cavity, and it just doesn't help.
Okay.
Help us treat the patient any differently.
So we're almost out of time. What's the last thing? You have the microphone. What would you like people to know?
Well, I'd like for them to know that you're your own health advocate. If you find something in your own mouth that's white or ulcerated and it isn't healing or isn't going away, you need to go see your dentist or a specialist to have it looked at to make sure you don't have oral cancer. Because if you can recognize oral cancer early, prognosis is good. So we want to recognize these entities as soon as possible.
Right. And before we went on the air, I showed you a picture of a lesion on one of my patient's tongues from 4 years ago, who didn't take my advice, and now he's back, and it's 10 times bigger or more. Right. Hopefully he'll take my advice this time, and we'll find out what this is. All right, Dr. Briody, thank you so much for being on my show.
Thanks for having me.
I really, really appreciate it. And so, okay, folks, looks like that's all the time we have. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Dr. Kvitko and visit my office Facebook page and like us. Remember that all past episodes, complete with video, are available at thereasonswesmile.com. Be sure to tune in next week and every week right here on your favorite station. Goodbye.
This is Carly Red from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, the hit show on VH1, urging you to tune in next week with my dentist, Dr. Kvitko.
If you're interested in learning more about this and other dental health topics, go to thereasonswesmile.com to access full episodes of Dr. Kvitko's show.
If you'd like Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist, to speak at your next event, please call 614-262-9588. That's 614-262-9588.